Here it is, the Steam Deck. So if you've not seen my unboxing video, you might want to watch that first. But I have long since unboxed it and I have been playing with it for a good few solid days. And I'm quite enjoying it, so I'll talk you through my thoughts. First things first, I love the way that it tells you games that will work in your library really good on the Steam Deck. The number seems to be increasing every time I go on the Steam Deck, which is really nice. So clearly Valve are doing some work, and the developers of the games. So far I have found battery life to be reasonable. I probably would be nicer if it lasted longer, but it does depend on what you're playing. So like all handhelds, I do find racing games work particularly well. So at the moment I'm just running Flat Out 4. Doesn't say it works great on Steam Deck, but it does seem to be running really well. The game seems to have adjusted the settings so that it run rather well on the Steam Deck. Controls are excellent. You've got numerous different ways you can control each of the games, and I do like particularly the haptic feedback that you get. It feels really nice if you're using the touchpad. There we go, so I'm using that to adjust the camera. As I find with any handheld console, I do want to play casual games, which usually does involve playing some retro titles, such as this for example, which is the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis Classic Collection. This again is another game that isn't great on deck according to Steam's own admissions, and there is a bit of a delay between pressing jump for example on the console and it actually having an effect on what's on the screen. I'll try and show you. There we go. So when a lot's going on, it does have a tendency to have a delay, which is a bit crazy because this hardware is more than capable of running Sonic the Hedgehog from the Mega Drive. I find the user interface quite easy to use. It's good how it when you first switch it on, it goes onto the home screen, which looks a bit like this. Tells you what you've recently played, and you can go through, have a look what's recommended, that kind of thing. And then if you press the Steam button again, and you can go to your library. So if you know what you wanted to play, you can get, well, it comes up at first, great on deck. So see here, I've got a library of 304 games, 52 of which are great on deck or automated, which are great on deck or optimized so that they run quite well. You can run any of your games, even if they're not optimized, and it works quite well, but that's 52 out of 304. It's at about 17% of my library is optimized. Bit disappointing, but the number does keep going up, so that's not too bad. Just down here, if you press this button, you get your notifications. See there, I've got a reward for going on the Steam Deck. And then if you go further down, you can adjust the brightness and the audio and the microphone. And you can switch on the Game Rumble, Steam Haptics, and then you've got airplane mode. You switch Wi-Fi off, Bluetooth, night mode. Some good stuff there. Performance tells you projected how long the battery is going to last. So it would last about 7.5 hours if I'm pretty much doing nothing. But then you can also, you can add a performance overlay, which will give you frames per second and all that sort of good stuff. You want to monitor how the hardware is doing. Advanced view, so you can limit the frames per second, you can limit the TDP, you can manually adjust the GPU, you can add a scaling filter, and you show the performance overlay in Steam, and then you got diagnostics, pretty interesting stuff. And then you got help, manual, report bug, replay guided tour, all really pretty cool stuff. And just to show you the full settings, you can update the system for example, you can change the OS update channel that you're on, so you can get the beta updates, you can customize all the notifications, you can look at display, so more advanced settings on there, just scroll down so you can see them all. Audio, got much more of a detailed load of settings there. Bluetooth, controller, keyboard, so you can change the keyboard type. Don't forget you've got the trackpad on there, so you can move through these pages using your fingers. Change your download region. Can add family sharing or remove it. You can have remote play, so you could actually play off your gaming PC if you're on the same network. Storage, you can manage your storage there. So just showing you there how much is taken up by the system. So you've got about 46 gigabytes in total. You can also activate a Steam product if you've got a key. In terms of controls that are available, you've got a D-pad here, then you've got a stick there and stick there, and ABXY buttons here, start and select, similar to the Xbox layout. Then you've got two touchpads which can be used to control games. On the top you have, so you've got L1, L2, R1, R2, as you'd expect. You've got power, you've got an LED when it's charging, and you've got a charging port, you've got a fan outlet, which can get a bit noisy, but it's not too bad because the volume goes really high. Headphone jack, my favourite. On the back, you've got air inlet, I'm assuming there, and then you've got these here. So you've got, what is that, R4, R5, and then so on and so forth for the left hand side. On the underneath, all you've got is an SD card slot. Screen itself is touch, so you can scroll, do all that sort of good stuff. There's a few pros and cons. I like the fact that you've got your entire Steam library on there. I like the screen, I think it's really nice big size. I like all the control options, really good. Despite its size, it's not that heavy. It is portable, although you'd struggle to get it in your pocket of your jeans, but you might be able to if you've got big legs. I just don't think we're ready for this yet. I think, honestly, with any handheld, the temptation is always to go for casual games, which is what I always do. I've no desire really to play any AAA titles on here when I've got a gaming PC at home. If you've seen my unboxing video, you'll realise inside the box there's a lot of scenarios where it gives you ideas of where you could use it. Personally, I wouldn't really want to take it out of the house with it being such a big, expensive piece of kit with very little security features on there. It's very quirky, I'll give it that, and it's not bad. For the money you get a heck of a lot of hardware, but let's be honest, if this does take off, then we're going to see Microsoft or Sony doing something very similar, only with their huge back catalogue of games. I just think it's a very early product. It is probably too big, even though it is usable, and I do think that probably the next iteration of it will be a lot better. Most of my Steam library is not designed to be run on a handheld device. To be fair to developers, they've never really been designing games on the Steam platform for using on a handheld. I do think there are better options out there, for example the Nintendo Switch for casual gaming. Then you've also got Microsoft and Sony's cloud gaming services, which you can get on a mobile phone. I'd probably invest in a decent controller and a 5G mobile phone if I wanted to play games on the go. Bit more of a realistic battery life streaming over the internet than having the actual hardware in your hand. In my last video I did ask for some comments on what I should do with the device. I think the best suggestion I got was to compile some C++ code. Bit beyond my knowledge, I'm afraid, so I'm not going to attempt that, but a good suggestion nonetheless. I think for me, at the moment, these are going for a lot of money, more than I paid for it, so for now I'm going to sell it and I'm going to stick with my Nintendo Switch. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.